I both want to lay down and cry, but also preach a sermon. I will try not to do either. You tell us about your process with this piece?
I just knew when I read through the stations that Mary needed to have a strong voice in this Lenten season. And I knew that this instrument would do that. I chose an F-sharp minor flute because it has a semblance of a woman's voice in that timbre. This song was actually began to emerge around 3 years ago. However, it never manifested itself. It just didn't come together. So I'd pick it up and work on it and put it away and bring it out for something else. And that didn't work either. But when I began to think, well, what could I play as Mary's voice? Then it came back to me. And it finished itself. And so this will always be Mary's song, and this may be the only time it's played. And that is very Native American flute music for you, a one-time. Is there an issue? Oh, I don't know. No, that's a little sound machine. That gives me a little, the sanctuary has a lot of resonance. But the flute, when it's played, is a dry instrument just by itself. It needs a little boost. So my darling husband helped me build a canyon on a stand, I call it, or a canyon on a stick. And that's what I use in the 1021, and it just gives the flute a rounder, more full tone.
We did, in fact, record it. You're not on screen, but it will have picked it up, and thanks be to God. I found myself very emotional, like I said, and had recently been with my parents' group. We were in Mark, the Gospel of Mark together, and it's the part where Jesus is in somebody's house, and and his mother and brothers come and want to pull him out because they think he's kind of gone mad, and I think this gives it this element of wanting to protect him, from whatever his madness is. And then the other piece that came to me, there's mixed feelings about Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. I have very strong feelings about it, but the one part that I loved and just broke me was there's a moment where from a distance, Mary sees Jesus fall. Ooh, I'll tear up. She sees him fall, and she flashes back to when he's 3 or 4 years old, and he's falling, and she wants to catch him.
Mm-hmm. And that's the lullaby part.
Yeah. But the agony, too.
Yeah.
The agony and the tone of the flute to me tonight just
back
captured
and forth because
all
she's
of
in
that.
this incredible place.
Yes, just it pulled it all together for me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Questions or comments or anything? Yeah, thank yous are true. We've got one in the back here.
Can you tell us about the flute and how and when it was made and the wood and how you care for it?
Well, this is one flute of, don't listen, Ron. Well over 30 now in my stable. You cannot change keys on a Native American flute. You have to change a flute every time you change a key. So for instance, in the 1021, I know what they're going to be playing, and every time they change a key signature, I have to use a different flute. So I have a full octave now from a low C to a high C, and most of the keys in between that I need for that. And then I have multiples of each of those. They're in, because you wet them out, you need different sounds. Every wood gives you a different sound. Every wood has a different voice. Every flute maker has a different voice. So you get your favorites, and then you find a sound that you like, and then you need another flute to give that sound just a little bit of a difference. So I have, this it happens to be a Western red cedar flute, very simple, and a small bore. Most of mine have a larger bore. But I have them in aspen, famili sapili, redwood, curly maple, many different woods. And they all give a different sound and liveliness to the notes.
How long have you played, Jen?
I want to give a little shout out to Ethel Sickert tonight. Many of you know Ethel. She's not with us tonight, but I spoke to her today. And I know she's with us in heart. Ethel gave me a few lessons almost 6 years ago. And after that, after you learn the very simple basics of this flute, you just play it every day. Every single person here could play this instrument, no doubt.
But doesn't it feel like she's been playing 25 years? That's unbelievable.
I've played it a lot.
It shows.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Up here? Wait for the mic, just real quick. Here it is.
Rita Ryan. As I listen to the music, there sounds to me like some very gentle, soft grace notes. And I wondered if that is intentional of the music, or it comes from you doing some changes of the mouth and so forth, or is that just part of it? Because you hear that in Indian music.
It's all of those things. I want to make it clear, I am not a musician. I am an artistic person who plays the Native American flute. It's quite a difference, so I can't speak to the musical aspects of what I do. Every flute player, Native American flute player, plays differently. For me, my playing style has just evolved over time. And what you're hearing are called embellishments. And they are done with the throat and the mouth and the tongue, and with the air volume and the vibrato, and with different aspects of the fingering. For me, they just come into the song where the song wants them to be. It's not something I plan out. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Anyone else?
Thank you.
It was beautiful. Thank you,
Thank
Jen.
you.